Arshad tried to pretend that everything was fine after his conversation with Nazia. He threw himself into his studies, buried his emotions beneath his books, and tried to avoid thinking about what had happened. But no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't forget the pain of rejection. It wasn't just that Nazia didn't love him back, it was the way she had seemed so casual about it, as though their connection had meant nothing to her. He hadn't expected her to feel the same way. But a small part of him had hoped that maybe, just maybe, there was a chance. But now, that hope felt foolish. Days turned into weeks, and the space between Arshad and Nazia grew. She still talked to him occasionally, but the warmth in her voice was gone. The playful teasing, the moments of shared laughter, they were all replaced with polite conversation. It was as if the bond they had shared was no longer there, as if everything had been erased with a few simple words. Arshad tried to ignore the emptiness he felt inside. He didn't want to make things awkward by confronting her again. He told himself that he had to move on, that it wasn't worth holding on to something that was never meant to be. But every time he saw Nazia with her friends, laughing and carefree, it felt like a knife to his chest. One afternoon, Arshad found himself sitting alone in the university's quiet courtyard, staring blankly at the sky. He was tired, not just from his studies, but from the emotional toll that the last few weeks had taken on him. He had tried to tell himself that things would get better, but deep down, he couldn't shake the feeling that something had been lost forever. And then, as if on cue, he saw her. Nazia was walking with a group of her friends, laughing and chatting, animatedly. Her eyes briefly met his, and for a split second it felt like nothing had changed. But then she quickly looked away, returning to her conversation. Arshad's heart sank. He had been hoping for a sign, some indication that things weren't completely broken between them. But instead, all he got was the reminder that she had moved on, and he was still stuck in the past. He turned away, his heart heavy. That evening, after finishing his assignments, Arshad found himself walking aimlessly around the campus. He didn't know why he was walking or where he was going, but his feet carried him through the darkening paths, his thoughts racing. He couldn't avoid the truth anymore. He was still in love with Nazia, but he had no idea how to move forward. He didn't want to lose her as a friend, but being around her, seeing her so happy without him, hurt more than he could bear. As he walked, his phone buzzed in his pocket. It was a message from Nazia. "Hey, can we talk? I've been meaning to. Apologize for how I've been acting lately." Arshad's heart skipped a beat. She wanted to talk. He stared at the message, unsure of how to respond. He had spent so much time convincing himself that he had to move on. But now, this message brought up so many emotions. Should he open up to her? Should he tell her how he felt? After a few moments, he decided to reply. "Sure, where do you want to meet?" he typed, his fingers trembling slightly. A few minutes later, she replied, "Meet me by the old fountain. I'll be there in 10. When Arshad arrived at the fountain, Nazia was already sitting on the edge, looking out over the water. The moonlight reflected off the surface, creating a soft, glowing light around her. She looked up when she heard him approach, and for a moment, neither of them said anything. Nazia sighed, breaking the silence. "I've been thinking a lot about our last conversation, and I feel like I owe you an apology. I didn't mean to hurt you, Arshad. I didn't know how to tell you the truth." Arshad nodded slowly, his emotions all tangled up inside him. "I understand," he said quietly. "You don't have to apologize, Nazia. It's hard for me to be around you, to see you move on while I'm still stuck." "I didn't want that to happen," she said softly, her voice sincere. "But I don't know what you want from me now. I know I've hurt you, and I'm sorry for that. But I don't want to lose you completely, Arshad." Arshad looked at her, his heart torn. He wanted to believe her, wanted to think that this was some sort of reconciliation, but he wasn't sure if he could keep pretending that everything was okay. "I don't know what to do, Nazia," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "I can't keep pretending that I don't feel this way about you." Nazia's expression softened. "I don't want to hurt you, Arshad. but I also don't want you to hold on to something that isn't real. I care about you, I do. But not in the way you want me to. Arshad looked down at the ground, his chest heavy. Then I guess we just need to let go, don't we? Nazia hesitated, but then she nodded. Yeah, maybe that's the only way.